So in honor of Black History Month, I'm back with another Black movie, and we're talking about Diary of a Mad Black Woman. Tyler Perry has to be included in this series. This movie is specifically, like, for Black women out there, like, the rage, the infuriation, like, all of that we feel from this movie is just, like, it's all represented on screen. So this is Helen. Helen did what all of our moms, grandmas, aunts, what they were always told to do. You get you a good Black man. You support that man. You do whatever you can to be supportive and submissive to him, and that's what you're supposed to do. And it did not work out that well for Helen. This is Charles. This is Helen's husband. I'm gonna get back to him in just a minute. So Helen and Charles have been married for 18 years. They don't have no kids. She's had miscarriages. And she comes home on their anniversary. I think it's 18 years, I said. And there's all these new clothes. So she puts on one of the dresses. He comes home late. She like, what's up? Thinking, they were going to celebrate. And meanwhile, he's planning on moving in his mistress and their two boys. And they're like 8, 7, like old boys, and all the clothes were hers. He drags her from the house, has a man waiting outside in a U-Haul to take her wherever she decides that she's going to go with all her stuff after all these years. She's screaming and fighting, and he don't care. He kick her out. And this the man that waiting on her. Fine as Shamar Moore, why? Like, why do they put these braids on him? Why did they do that? Tyler, to the front. You still have never answered why you took fine ass Shamar Moore and put braids on him. But anyways, this the man in the truck. He takes her, he ends up taking her to, I can't remember if Medea is her aunt in this one, but anyways, of course he takes her to Medea's house. Now, Medea done already pulled out the calculator and said that Charles owes her 10 trillion, 50 million, billion, gazillion dollars or whatever, takes Helen back over to the house, and she literally starts cutting everything in half. The mistress comes home and is like, I'm about to call the police. This is where we get the infamous, like, call Depopo whole line. Medea ended up going to jail for a little bit. She don't care nothing about that. But anyways, so Helen ends up staying with Medea for a long period of time. She visits, like, her mom, who she was forced to put in a nursing home because Charles did not care about Helen or her mama. But she starts to like find herself. She gets herself a little job. And her and Mr. Fine are dating. They get a whole relationship. And he really wants to be with her. As a matter of fact, he ends up proposing to her because, mind you, she done been separated or whatever. Even though they were not technically divorced. So he proposed and he gets her a ring, but she really can't get married yet. Nevertheless, Charles is a defense attorney, and he was representing a criminal. The criminal did not feel like he represented him well and shoots him, and he ends up in the hospital, and the mistress was like, let him die. Helen, who is actually still his wife, though, was like, no, we're not going to let him die. So he comes home. Helen's the only person there. He's like cussing her out. Why are you here? Where's Brenda? Where are my boys? Where's all this stuff? Da-da-da-da. She, like, balls up a picture of Brenda and the boys, like, stuffing in his mouth. She beating him with this fake bat. She's like, I gave you 18 years. I had miscarriages. You never respected me. You are not going to talk to me like this. And she leaves. Like, he just sitting in his wheelchair. He can't move. So she comes back in a couple of days. She's like, you stink. And this is my favorite scene. So in this scene, you can see Charles looks stressed because Helen's taking him to the bath. But Helen proceeds to dump him headfirst into the bathtub and then tell him to stop blowing in bubbles. Honey, Charles is drowning. She gets in clothes and all and had to smoke her a cold cigarette because he has stressed her out. This is how we get back to the next best scene, which is when they're at this really big dinner table. Obviously, it's a mansion. Charles is at the other end. He is sitting there crying. He's like, Christina. Christina was the maid. Helen goes, Christina's gone. Brenda ran off, that's the mistress, with all his money, cleared out his checks because she wanted him to die. And Christina obviously wasn't getting paid, so Christina left too. Helen sits there eating this dry ass arugula and tomato salad. She just chomping away on the salad because all they got is scraps left in the house, drinking this glass of wine. And she says, the old Helen is gone. Yeah. So Helen does her wonderful wifely duties. She nurses Charles back to health. They're going to church, and this is probably the next best scene in this movie. I stole this from somebody else's video. This is also, Tyler Perry plays in his plays or whatever, and his character Brian. This is his wife. She's on drugs, but she comes to church, and she's in need of the blood of the lamb. Amen. Anyway, so at this same church session, Charles decides he gets up and he walks down to the pulpit. He is healed and delivered. So after church, he thinks like, okay, I respect Helen. I love Helen. This is my woman, whatever. Helen slides him the divorce papers. And take her ass home back to find shit. Absolutely. She running through the steel mill. It's sparks flying and shit. She ain't got no hard head on. She don't care. She gonna get her man and help him get rid of them braids. But yes. So in 2025, what I want us to do, I want us to do more of what Helen did to Charles, but I want us to get there quicker, okay? I don't want it to take us 18 years like it took Helen. We have to come to this conclusion much quicker. And black men, y'all have to start learning to respect black women. Happy Black History Month.